Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Dee 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 dee. Da dee 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 dee. Da 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 da. Da da da. Morning.
Morning.
Lovely morning for fishing, eh? Da dee 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 dee. Da dee 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 da. Dee 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 dee. Da dee da dee da. Da da dee dee dee. Da dee da dee da dee. Da dee 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 dee. Da dee da dee da. Da dee 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 dee. Da dee dee dee. This'll do me. Look at that, a lovely willow tree, a nice back stream, and then on top of that I've got a barge, a sunken old barge, perfect for chopworm. That'll do me today. Lovely. Let's get this lot off me back. Right, let's tackle up for a bit of action. Oh dear me, that was a long old walk. I'm going to strip off a bit, cool down a little bit, get rid of some of this clobber. Oh, you don't realise how much gear you wear. Oh, that's better. Now I'll get down to some tackling up. Put these out of the way behind me. That'll do, they can go on there. Right, let's get my old box comfortable. Let's get the old... I like to sit nice and comfortable when I'm fishing. So what I like to do, if I put these legs up a little bit, loosen them off, tighten them up, too. I think when you're pole fishing like I'm going to do today, I think one of the most important things is to be really comfortable and make sure your old box is nice and solid. Use this metal bar here at the bottom to make the stand nice and solid, and I've got no worry about moving about. Just a little extra bit of height on the back. There we are, we're nearly there. That's it, now the old box is nice and firm. Just test it out. It's nice and firm and solid. I can stand up and I've not got to worry about tilting, going in or anything. I'm happy with my box now. Now I'll just get round to tidying everything up, putting everything where I want it really. Put that there. That's my bait carry-all. Like that there. And I do like to get my rod holder nicely near the river bank like this. Really, because it's a lot safer. There's quite some expensive gear in here. These poles, for example. It comes out, it's a Triana, one of their most expensive range ones, and when I tell you this is over £2,000, it's quite a bit of money. So the reason, as I say, I'll keep things near the bank like this, more for anything, it's safe from walkers, bikers or anyone, and it stops me worrying when I'm fishing. So I'll lay that there for a moment, take me other bits and pieces I need out of here today, me landing net handle, and I've got me keep net in here somewhere when I can find it. Let's have a look. Here it comes. Put that back. Now hopefully I won't have to touch that no more today till I've finished. Lay that there. Put this next to it. That's it. So that's ready to start use. I'll put that. I've already moved this once. I'll move that again right behind me. Just whip this off, lay that down there. Oh, everything's still wet from yesterday's fishing. Right, let's get this landing net. If I make this up now, normally I used to leave this till last, and I'll never forget one match I fished. To be honest, it was quite an important match, and I've tackled up and I've gone for a walk thinking to myself, Dickie, you got loads of time, nice and early. The match has started, and after about a quarter of an hour I've actually hooked a fish, probably knocking on to a pound. I've gone to pick my landing net up. I thought, you blooming idiot, and honestly I'd left it in my bag, I hadn't even tackled it up. So since then, to be honest, I've been putting my landing net up first. A lot of people laugh at the net, a bit big, but you never know. I mean, I'm going to fish chopworm today. I could quite easily hook a bream to 3 pound and even the occasional carp, so I think it's good to have a net of that size. So we'll lay that out of the way. Next thing I do, I take my poles out. Today is going to be quite easy to tackle up, because the difference with this sort of fishing, chop worm fishing, if I was squat fishing, caster fishing and just fishing a general match, I would need to set 3 or 4 rigs up, but with chop worm, 1 rig will do the job. So I only really need to set 1 pole rig up today. I'll take that joint out, let's just got, and see what elastic I've got in the actual top that I've got put in the pole. I'll whip that top out. No, it's like I've got a number 3 elastic in there, so that's the top I'm going to use today. Later on, I'll show you how I actually got my elastic put through my pole. I've only got it through the top joint, but as you can see just there, it's a little bit fatter. Instead of putting the PTF straight into that and cutting it back a fair bit, I've put a little thicker bit of carbon over the top of it, but I won't mess and bore you with that now. We'll come back to that later on. I'll lay this one out of the way for a minute. Put that there. This is my top with my spare tops in, which I don't need at the moment. And this is the one I'm going to just, that's 1 plug. Pop my plugs away safely. I'm always losing them. And I'll just lay these out the way, so once I get it tackled up, I haven't got to worry about treading on them. I'll tell you what, these are soaking wet from yesterday. You can tell it was raining when we packed up yesterday. In there a second. The beauty about chop worm fishing is that you don't have to go out very far. The perch intend to hang nearer the edge and in the deeper water, so I haven't got to worry about going right across to the far side today. If I was come down and I was actually fishing a match, then of course I'd have put some casters over against the willow tree and kept having a look over there to try and get some extra big bonus fish as well. But today I'm only going to fish the chop worm, so I'm going to just concentrate on chop worm fishing today. I mean, to be honest, this is an absolute dream peg. I mean, when you look at it, it's straight out of Mr. Crabtree's fishing book. It's the sort of swims he used to fish all the time. Willow tree, backstream, boat. So I must admit it's one of the nicest looking pegs I've fished for a long time. Right, my joints are there. I'll lay this again out of the way. The next thing I'll do, before I actually put a rig on that one, I'll show you a few of the floats I intend to use today and just tell you a few things about the floats. So I'll just get them out of my box and then I'll let you have a close-up look at what I'm going to do today, and this will give you a little bit of idea into the general idea of chop worm fishing. Right. Now these are mostly my canal floats, squat floats, caster floats, lake floats, bloodworm floats and chop worm floats. But what I'll do, I've got some that are not on winders that I'm going to show you, because quite honestly the chop worm float is a lot different to other floats. So I'll shut this down, put that top on. The reason I do that, I don't want everything everywhere. Go down to my bottom layer. I'll take a few things out that I'm going to need anyway. If I take my hooks out and my tray, I haven't got to keep opening the box again. Of course, you can see I was fishing yesterday, there's even water still in here. We'll take a towel out, and we also take one of my cups out, which I'm going to show you later on. Might as well take my catty out because it's all tangled up. We'll shut that because it's a mess. Put it out of the way, hide it. Right, if I show you the floats that I do use for chop worm fishing, I've got a few loose ones in here. I'll put a few out. Find the chop worm one. I know I've got a couple of special chop worm ones in here. There's one of them. That's a lovely chop worm float, so I'll just drop the others back. Most of these floats I've got here, as you see, they're all the same floats. They're floats that have been made by a friend of mine, Richard Latimer. Very nice floats. quite honestly, for canal fishing, chop worm fishing, I think they're as nice a floats as you can get. I'll just put this back so I don't spill them everywhere. As you can see, my gear's in a bit of a state. Right, this is the float for chop worm fishing. As you can see, it's slightly different to most floats. I'll have to point out the way it's different. It's got quite a long wire stem, which I think is pretty important too for chop worm fishing, because you want the float to be stable so that you can lift and drop all the time. Now the other thing, as you can see, the length of the bristle. Now if you can see that is a very long bristle. It's probably 1.5 inches to 1.25 inches. And the other thing about it, the thickness of it. When you get to my age, your old eyes, they start to go a little bit, joking aside. I prefer to use a thick bristle. I honestly believe that a lot of the floats today have got too thin a bristle. You fish at 11 and 12 metres and you just struggle to see them too much. But these have got a lovely thick bristle, nice and long. And as I say, the reason you need it long is because all day long I shall have that float dotted right the way down to practically a 1/16 of an inch out of the water, and I should be working it all day, lifting it, dropping it, pulling it to one side, pulling it to the other, because I want to tease the perch into taking me bait. So that's the sort of float I'm going to use. Later on during the day, I've got some, if you can't get hold of these floats, I have actually got some floats that I make similar to this myself, where I sort of divert other floats to look like this, and I'll show you that later on a piece of cardboard, make it nice and easy for you. But I want to get on with some fishing. I know you want to see me catch some fish. I want to catch some fish, so I'm not going to mess about too long like this. So I'll put this away again, this float, and I will get one out exactly the same from the same box. I'm going to use this for, this is for chop worm fishing. This is the one I've used the last 3 or 4 weeks for chop worm fishing. I've had great results on it and it works to a treat. Exactly the same as the one you see, and I had this already put in this box cheating ready, so I didn't have to look through and find it. So that can go there. Here's my float, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my pole, but before I do, hooks. I'll just whip that off there, open my drawers. Look at that, I've got the hooks all laying there, all planned, weren't it? All laying there ready to show you. Shut it down, lay that there, put that over there together. Right, the hooks I use. We'll start with these ones first. These are 2 Martini Series 2. They're a silver hook. They're ideal for caster fishing and chop worm fishing. When I'm going to catch real big perch, I use them. But my favourite hook for chop worm fishing, there they are. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because everybody knows how I talk, so I should make a mess of it. I've even got left a price on $1.50. What is it, Kamikaze or something? Well, work that one out yourself. But they're the green barbless hooks. They're 6.313 in size 20. They're a very fine hook and they're very sharp. Reason I like to use them is everybody knows what tough, bony mouths perch you got. And with these being so sharp and fine, they just slip into the mouth and you just don't bounce as many fish. And for perch up to 8 ounces to 12 ounces, not a better hook on the market. Brilliant. So put them away. One other thing on these, very hard to get hold of at the moment, especially the older ones. The older ones seem to be a little bit finer than the newer ones. And I will say in North London, where I come from, you can't buy a packet of these green barbless hooks in any shop. Everyone's sold out. And the old ones, well, as I say, they're like gold dust. Brilliant hook. Put these away. I'll put them away. Just before we think, there's some other little things that you can't buy, especially in our part of London. These old shots. I think these are the old Olympic shots. It's very small, round, very round with a cut right bang in the middle. People like Derek Young and Peter Bays from Essex County, I've been around most of the tackle shots with me job, and as I say, I've bought them out, and I happen to be in a pub and I give some packets to 2 or 3 boys in the team, and Derek Young said I'll give you a £5 a packet for them, and they're only £1, so that's how valuable and hard to get hold of they are. the old Olympic shots in the tube. So if there's any of them in your local tackle shop, buy them. They're worth their weight in gold. If nobody else wants them, I'll buy them off you. Right, let's get down and do some fishing.
Morning, please. Could I see your permit?
Yeah, sure, mate. There you go.
Right, thank you very much then.
Right, goodbye. Right, let's get the old pole rig put together. Hold on just a second before I put that. I'll just put my pole pot on my joint. Now there's a funny old pole pot. I bet you haven't seen none of these before. I'll put that on there. You can see it's a bit of an unusual pole pot, but I'll show you that later on. When I put the bait in, I'll show you how that works. Lay that there out of the way. Let's put my old rig on. I'm just going to put this away, as I'll show and lose it. Right. Put the pole rig on. Pole anchor back in the box so I don't lose it. I haven't got a stomper on. I just attach it straight to the elastic. Put that through. Hold it and pull it. A lot of people know that knot, so I won't bore you with telling you how I tie it on. Right, that's all done. Let's take the hook out. Put that there out of the way. And I've actually got an Olivet on this. I know you can't see the Olivet, but I like to use Olivet when I'm chop worm fishing because it's got to be steady for lifting and that. So you use bulk shot, so an Olivet's nice and neat. Right, we've got that together. We'll plumb the depth up. I'll just get the rest of my pole, which I'll put out of the way in safety. Pull that here. Right. On there. Though to be fair, you can't plumb the depth up without a plummet, so let's get a plummet out of my box. Again, another one of my homemade efforts. My plummet's just a swan shot with a piece of silicone stuck in it. I'll show you that later on in a close-up. Just stick the hook in that and we'll plumb the depth. The depth I've got there, I should imagine, is a bit deep, but let's get round and plumb up, find out what the depth is. I've probably got about 4 foot on there at the moment. Let's see what depth it is. I'll put it there. That is, at the moment, that's just about right. That is about 2 inches under depth. But what I'm going to do, I want to make sure where the ledges are and everything. So first of all, I'll come closer in. I was probably at about 4 metres there. Yeah, if I come into about 3 metres, it's probably 3 foot deep. When I go out to 4 metres, that's when it goes down to about 4. So if I put a couple more joints on and just see how far before it starts to come up again. What are we out to now? We're out to about 6 and it's still the same. Let's just put a couple more joints on. It's nice when you fish canals to know exactly where the ledges are, where it starts to go up and everything. No, that's still about it. That's a lovely depth there. The way things are going, there's no ledges. Let's have another look. Yeah, so if I come back, that's about, I'm on about 8.5 metres now. If that's the same depth there, that'll be ideal. Yeah, that's just at the bottom of the far ledge on 8 metres, and I've probably got 4 foot of water. And I couldn't have judged that better. That's about 2 inches off the bottom. I can just about see the float under the water. That's how we're going to start. Right, if I fetch that in, lay them along the edge. We're all ready to fish now. The only thing I've got to do now is prepare me bait. Show you the different ways to feed chopped worm. Before we start fishing, preparing me bait, let's just put that in there. We must mark the depth. I've got some Tipex here. Well, you can see where I've marked my depth before, so let's find it. Is it over there or in my drawer? Ah, there it is, in my drawer, right. Just mark it on me pole. Bit cack-handed. There we are. What I like to do, one there, one there. I'll put a cross on that one because it's right near. Look at that. Now I know how many depth. That's really just in case I happen to break up or anything. And with chopped worm fishing, I do intend to go up and down off the bottom quite a bit. I might lay on, I might decide to fish a foot off bottom. So with that, when I want to go back to the correct depth, I've got it marked. So now we get back to showing you all the different ways to feed chopped worm. Let's lay that out of the way. I'll just get everything ready now to show you all the different methods of feeding. Right, here's my operating table. This is where I'm going to show you the different ways to present the bait. Right, here's our red worms. As you can see, I've got tea leaves and pieces of apple in with them, and take it from me, that's one of the best ways to keep worms. The same with the lob worms. Put apple and tea bags and everything in. It really does keep the worms in tip-top condition. Keeps them lively and wiggly. I might confuse you, I've got one of the wife's tights here. I've got a piece of netting, piece of lead and pebbles. So these are the way we're going to actually feed the worm. Now this is the worst job of all, is of course chopping the worms up. This in this bottle, believe it or not, is the old Ace that British Ground Bait used to make. It's liquidised worm extract. It really does smell, but it helps to tip it on my stocking when I actually fill it up with a chopped worm. But let's get round to chopping some lobs up. Not a very nice job. I'll take 2 or 3 out. 2 or 3 nice big lob worms. We'll put 5, we'll do 5 we will. There they are. Put them in there. Now let's get to chopping them up. Now this is a real messy old job. This is the only thing that is dodgy about chopped worm fishing. It's funny how different people chop worms up in different ways. When I'm going to put them in the stocking, like I'm going to at the moment, I like to chop them up really as small as I can. Let's try it with these other scissors. Sometimes these work better for chopping them up really small. That's it. They can really put everything together. There's the lob worms all chopped up. They're chopped up. What else I like to do? I've got some nice reds in here, pure reds. Where are they? There they are, a nice thick bundle of them. Take a few of them and do the same to a few of them. It's a right old mixture there, isn't there, eh? Give them a real good old chop up. Right, they're chopped up, look at them, lovely and small, see all the light. Now I'll show you what the stocking and the netting is for. You can either use netting or stocking, but what I'm going to do, I've got the toe there, I'm going to get the scissors, I'm going to chop it off, leaving about 3 inches. We're not going to need that no more, so take that home with me. Put it in the dustbin again. Next thing I'm going to do, these little pebbles that I had, one of the pebbles, and drop it in there. And then I'm going to mix all this lobworm and that up. Always remember to wash your hands before you eat any sandwiches. And I'll put that in there. Put the lot in there. There it all goes. Just leave a little bit to... Right, we've got it all in there. Next thing, like that. The string I had. Piece of string. Cut it off. And tie it round. Once, just put a knot in it. That won't lose it. There we are. Scissors again. Cut that off. That. Back in the box. Put that in there like that. A little bit of this stinky old stuff on it to soak into it. Like that. Normally I'll leave that for a couple of minutes while I'm getting ready for the whistle to go. Yeah, look at that, all soaked in that old ice. And what I'd do, I'd pop that in my cup. And the idea of this is you can just take it away and you can just lower it into the water. I'm not going to put it in, I'm just showing you how it works. And then take it out, and that's ready. You might say, why has he used the sock? The fish can't feed. Well, the whole idea of that is, I've got the pebble in it, I drop that into my swim, it goes down onto the bottom, and the smell from all them chopped worm and everything attracts all the perch into your swim, and they come and they nudge at the bag and they stay round it all day, and you don't feed them at all. There's no feed there for them, and you can just afford to put little weenie pieces in all the time, and you never overfill them, and you'll find that you can normally catch every perch in your peg. Now another little trick that they do, people that don't like to use stockings, is with a piece of lead. Now, again, if I find me lobworm, let's find a couple of real big ones this time, real long ones, real snakes as we call them. I haven't got a lot of real snakes. I lay that there, and another snake. The next thing you do, you get your piece of lead, and you wrap it round them really tight so that they can't get away. They can't pull away. And then you just get your scissors. You don't cut them up, you just put little nips in them. Just gently, just put little marks in them. All the way along them. Just little nips. Just the end of them, just cut an end off. Just the edge, just cut each end off. And all you're doing is allowing for the smell and the juice to come out, like that. And as you can see, here it is with the lead in. What happens there, the worms drop to the bottom, and in some swims, you might find, especially when you're fishing hard mashes, winter leagues and that, you get a lot of them little weenie perch like that in your swim. You want to catch as many as you can, and you don't want to fill them up. But what happens, the lead takes it to the bottom, the little perch come and they bite at the lobworm, and of course they can't carry it away, they can't eat it, and again that will stay in your swim for 2 or 3 hours and the fish can't fill themselves up. So they're the 2 basic ways of keeping perch in your swim for a long time. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is show you my little pole pot. If I get it out of my drawer, come here, oops, there we are. Just a little weeny pole pot. Now what that is, that's just a drenum feeder. I think it's a small one. As you can see, it's really cut down, and I can put this on my pole. I'll just fetch the pole back so you can see. Take the line out the way, just push that on and slide it down my pole. Right, now that's so small that can stay on the pole, you don't even know you got it in. Now what I like to do all the time, just like you're feeding maggots or squat, just get a very, very small piece of the chopped worm, just put it in there, and because it's such a small pot, you can push it in and it doesn't come out when you shake the pole. And I'll show you just down the edge here how it comes out. As you see, I turn the pole over, it doesn't come out, a gentle little bang, see how it falls to the water? There we are, and the reason for doing that is that you can feed it all the time, just like feeding 2 or 3 maggots or casters, and of course you can adjust your feed to exactly how the fish are taking. If you're catching a load of fish, you put a piece in every time. If it's very hard, say, especially a winterly, or you're only fishing for 5 or 6 perch, then you only need feed every 5 or 10 minutes, but that way you keep the fish interested, and basically that's my feeding method for the actual chopped worm. So now let's get down to the proper business of fishing. What I'm going to do, I normally start off putting a reasonably little worm on. I've got a little worm, and what I like to do, I like to just cut the end of the worm, just at the tail. Just pinch the end off so that you've got a bit of the smell coming out. And as I said earlier, got my little cup on the end, just a little bit of free offerings popped in my cup, like that. And out we go. We're all ready to hopefully to start catching a lot of perch. Worms out, and as you can see, I just lean forward, turn the pole pot over, and if I get a little bang, yeah, like it fell right on exactly the same line as me float. What I've got to do now is just running through. And the main thing with chopped worm fishing, as I said, the float, it's just still, until it gets a little bit damper, it'll go down a lot lower. Just lift it and drop it all the time. You have to tease the old perch into taking your bait, you do. You lift it, you drop it, and you pull it. At one time, I never used to enjoy chopped worm fishing at all. But at the moment, it's become such a popular method, and a method that you can win with, you can win matches with, that I must admit I thoroughly enjoy it now. I often go out and I practice it and do different things all the time and try and experiment, and I really enjoy it. So. You know, I think if you believe a method's a winning method, you do intend to put yourself out and enjoy fishing it. I went a few years back when I done the bread punch fishing. It was an out-and-out winning method, and I really enjoyed it. But now there's so much bread punch and everything gone into the venues, that it doesn't seem to be a winning method now. It seems to be a backup method more now than a winning method on the majority of the waters that I fish. So I don't enjoy it as much now as I used to. But make no mistake, if it came back to the time when spread punch began to win matches on the venues I fish, I would very soon get back to really enjoying it and going out practicing it a lot more. There's a few fish about now. With the luck, we're just starting to get a few bites. Oh, there's one. Let it go well. Nice gentle strike. Look at that. There's a fish on there. Not a big fish. Probably a couple of 3 ounces. And up you come. Up you come. Come on. Come on. Just keep him down well. There it is. I think I'll use a landing net on that one. Cool. Down it goes again. Come on. That one. There we are. Yeah, it was a bit small to net really, but not a bad fish. Look at that. And hook, pop it in the net. About 2.5, 3 ounces. Just right. Oh, here we are. Look at that. What a lovely bite. Oh, that's a better fish. To be perfectly honest, that don't feel like a perch. A roach it feels like. Let's hang on the old winder. Roll up. There we go. Oh, that is a good fish. The old elastic come out. Ah. Oh, what was that? That's definitely not a perch. What is it? Come here. Oh dear me, I believe that it's a dace. Dace or chub one. What is it, dace or chub one? Come here. Look at that. Come here. That's it. Go. What is it, dace or chub? Let's have a quick look. Dace. Yeah, it's not, well, I'll say it's not very often. You do catch dace and chub on worms, but not very often you catch a dace. Right in the top lip. Come here. Just nice and gently get it out. Nice fish. Put that in the old net nice and gently. Here we go. Landing it out of the way. The old action's hotting up now. Right, let's get out again. Just been on catching a few fish. I've just put a, keep the old fish happy. Just put a little bit in my cup. I like to keep them happy. The fish are coming quite quick now, so we'll put a bit in every put in. There we go again. Lay the float there, turn it over, bang the pole. Look at that, lovely. Let's get ready for more action. Oh, another one. Ah, this is only a small fish. That's a swinger this time. Swing this one to end. Little perchy. Oh, disgorge your job. I must have let that take it a little bit too long, that one. That's it, out nice. Nice little perchy. There you go. Sometimes when you do catch a lot of fish, you do intend to forget to keep feeding. There's a few fish there now. I'm going to start putting reasonably sized worms on. Just nip the end, just about that. That's a nice size. So there is a few fish about and we just try and get some bigger fish. There we go. I'll let it settle. Ah, this is definitely a perch. See the running of it. You always tell a perch when you hook one straight away. Never any. Come here. Ah, look at that. Probably one of my biggest perch today. I said I put a bigger worm on. It's not a monster, but oops, it's all right. Just blew the worm up the line a little bit this time. And that's what's that, 3 or 4 ounces, 4 ounces probably. Use the worm again. Use the same one, come out. Cool, they've got hard mouths, there's no, I'll just get the disgorger, makes life a lot easier. And no chance of damaging the hook. There we are. Pop her in the net. Get out there again. Well, with this chop worm fishing, today we have actually come to the running pound on the Blenheim water, but the only reason I have actually came here is the fact that we've had so much bad weather and we were frozen all over the weekend. So I did have permission off the Northampton Mean Club to use their waters around Northampton, but I thought I daren't take a chance and fish a water that was frozen. So we came here, but quite honestly, most canals in the country respond, especially during the winter, to chop worm fishing. It's a cheap day's fishing, it's a good day's fishing, and you can guarantee to get bites. So don't just wherever you are, if there's perch about, have a go with a chop worm. Remember, all you've got to do is make sure you lift and drop your bait and make it work, because perch love to go for things that are moving. I've brought a few of my mates along today, and as you can see, we're all fishing chop worm exclusively, and we're all catching fish just to sort of prove how good it can be and the different species we can actually get on chop worm. I'm just having a cup of tea. Put that down out the way now. And what I said earlier on, that when I was showing you the floats I had, you might not always be able to actually get hold of them rigid Latimer floats, but it's quite an easy way to alter your own floats round and make them more visible in the water and put longer stems on them, especially for the chop worm fishing. So I've got the cardboard here, but I'll better turn it round for you. Now, just quite simple, I've brought this along really just to show you how I do it. This is just the brown grass that you see everywhere. You see it in the field. I always break a few bits off and I'll take it home and I'll dry it out. When it's nice and dry, this float here, this is an Anesti float where the wire goes right through. This is just one for an easy example of how to do it. There's the float there, as you can get it from the shop. What I'll do, I'll keep pushing this grass actually over the wire until I get a nice tight fitting. When I get a nice tight fitting, I just varnish the actual wire stem and push the piece of grass over as long as I want, push it over tight. When it's on there tight, just give it one coat of white paint, coat of red paint, and you finish with a lovely big thick bright bristle like that. That one's just an ordinary Anesti number 10 where I've just pushed it over the normal bit of bristle. But nice way to make nice thick bristles on the float. Very cheap, very enjoyable to do. So I'll just put that there, let you have a good look at it, take it in for a minute or two, and if you want to alter your own floats, do it. Probably take you 20 minutes maximum. All right, I'll lay that down. Now the other thing, put that out of the way. The other thing I said to you earlier on, I got my pole tip and I've shown you how it was thicker at the end. What I actually had pushed over the end of my pole was actually another bit of carbon. But to show you how easy it is to do, what I've got here on here is just a bit of silicone rubber. It's a rather solid bit. The carp anglers intend to use it a lot. What I do, I push a PTFE into there, just push it in very tight, and then if you cut it back, leaving it at about that distance, which probably is 1.5 inches, you'll find when you actually push it over your pole, what you actually do then, you actually leave a gap from where you push it over your pole of normally about 1/2 inch, which as you can see just there, that 1/2 inch, and that actually acts as a lubricant. and that actually, when you put your slip in, that you put in your pole to make the elastic slip backwards and forwards and all, and go back to the joint, it acts as a reservoir, and it actually keeps the elastic going back. So it's just a useful little trick. Plus the other thing, of course, is you don't always have to cut the pole back so much, because you can normally gain 6 inches, which is quite useful. And then, as you see, I've got a little bit of wire wool. I put that there because what I like to do, to make sure the elastic runs through the pole really smooth, I do actually rub that inside the pole just to clean it up really nice and make it nice and clean inside. Because if you do actually look inside your pole a few times, you will see it is quite a bit rough at times inside your pole, and that's just the way. Just put it through on your pole, on your my memory's gone. Just put it through on your what's the matter with me? Your little bit of your pole threader. That's it. Got it in the end, didn't I? Pull it on your pole threader. Sometimes I might even super glue a few bits onto the pole threader. Pull it through backwards and forwards. Sometimes 20 or 30 times, and you'd be surprised how nice and clean the inside of the pole comes. Plus the fact you get rid of any scum or anything inside. So really, if you understand that, you're better than me. Right, I've tried to explain the best I can. I think you understood that. But what I'm going to, I'll put these away, and I'm going to get back because I've got another hour left, I reckon. Have a nice little bit of fishing for the last hour. So let's get back to, hopefully, for some more action. Here we are, not even tangled up. Well, it's been quiet now for about 10 minutes. It's quite honestly, it's the longest I've been without a bite since the slow start. I wouldn't be surprised if there ain't a big perch or a pike moved in over all that chopped worm I've put in. Definitely something bigger moved into the swim, I would imagine, or I've caught them all. I don't think I have. That's a bite. Oh, that's better. This is definitely a better fish. Could be a big perch or pike even. It's something good. Definitely the best fish I've hooked today, without a shadow of a doubt. Look at that elastic come out. Is there a better feeling than that, eh? Look at that. That is a nice fish. I haven't really put any proper tension on it. I don't want to lose it. It's not very often, especially with the cameras here, you do actually hook a good fish. Take me time with it. I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to say, as if I was fishing a match, how careful I'll be. And I'll make sure I get this one in. Although I shouldn't say that, I'll probably lose it now. Look at that, beautiful. So I get it on the roller. That's it. I keep everything nice and smooth. I don't want to lose this. Keep the fish down in the water as long as I can, because once they start splashing on top, that's when you're liable to lose it. So when we see what it is now, I don't think it's a perch. It's definitely not fighting like a perch. Look, it's trying to come in under me net now. The arm's out. As soon as I get it away from the bank a little bit, I'll lift it up and we'll see what it is. It's definitely a nice fish. I'll say it's probably poundish, maybe a little bit more. I'd open and praying this would be a bream. I've said we'd sometimes get them, but it's definitely moving slow. It could be a tench, bream or a carp. It's not a pike or a perch. I've put my life on that. Look at that elastic now. It's beautiful. Just going to take me time. I'm not going to lose it. I probably bloody well will now, saying that. Just my luck. Come here. Oh, I think it's a tench. I'm pretty. It's a tench. I'm pretty. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's a bream. Look at that. I thought for a minute it was foul. Look, but it's not. Come here. I'll get the net in the water ready. Come here. Ain't even. Once I get it on his side, it'll be beaten. It's fighting well. Look. Come on, over it. Well, that's blue. It's a bream. It's not that big, really, to be honest. I was hoping it would have been a bit bigger than that. Come here. Right, still turn it. Get some air in his mouth. That'll be all right. Now, once you get some air in their mouths, they're yawn. Come on. That's it. Lovely. What a finish. What a nice finish. I think I've just about caught everything today. Look at that. And that's a pound and a quarter. Let's take that out. Oh, what a lovely fish. Look at that. Beautiful. I'll use a disgorger on that. It's only just hooked in the side of the mouth, but just look at that. What a beautiful fish. What more, eh? Oh, give it a kiss. Oh. That'd have been a match, I'd have given it more than a kiss. Right, let's get out again. I think we're just about, I'm going to have one more chuck before I call it a day, and I'm going to put another big worm on, just to see if there's any more about, because the old bream, they do intend to go around in shoals or threes and fours of them, so there could be some more out there. I'm going to sort a real big lobworm out this time. Well, not lob, a real big one. I might even put 2 on. Blow the expense, put 2 on. 2 on. Never know, we might get another one. I'll pop that on. And I'm not even going to bother to put any feed in my cup this time. Look, the old elastic's hanging out. I'll go straight out there. I kept it nice and quiet. It never flapped or anything. There's quite a good chance there could be another one out there. Just lay it on. Hold on. I've just thought of something. I was just touching bottom. I'm going to just put an extra 4 or 5 inches on that, and if there's any more bream there, I want it laid nice and still. I'll put about another 6 inches on, and I'm going to lay it on over depth without moving it, and just see if I can get another bream. I'll do that, because they do like the old bait laid on the bottom, the old bream. Just lay it on, and I'm just going to sit there with the bait dead still. Take your settings. Right, I'm going to have 10 minutes like this just to see if I can get another fish before the end. Come on, fish. Come on, fish. Another bream and finished the day off beautiful. There we are. We're going to get one. Go. Take it. That is a typical bream bite. There it goes, nice and slowly. Oh! God dear me. It's not a bream, don't worry. It's just a little fish of some sort. A little sweller, a little perch. Would you credit it? Eh? That's double worm laying on and get a little perch of that size. I think that is just about enough to make me call it a day. Unhook it, I'm going to pop that in, and I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to wrap that round there out the way. I'll lay that along the bank. I'll get my pole and lay that along the bank. And then we'll have a look what we've caught today. I'll lay that there, just get rid of a few bits and pieces out the way. I'll lay that there. Pop these pots out the way. Everything out the way. We'll have a look what we've caught today. I've got to be honest, when I say this is a typical chop worm day's fishing, it's an exceptionally good day on the chop worm. I have caught a little bit more than I really expected, to be honest. I mean, that is an absolute lovely day's fishing on the chop worm. Just look at that. There's got to be 8 pound there. Look at that. There's the old bream. What a lovely fish, eh? There's the dace I caught. Oh, they're getting out, and there's some perch. Look at that, loads of little ones. Perch of all size. What a lovely day's fishing, eh? That just shows how good chopworm fishing is. Put them back nice and carefully. I like to let the fish swing out themselves because I've had such a good day's fun with them. You don't like to hurt any of them. Back you go. Look at that. There they all gone. Check you don't leave any in the net, because sometimes with the old perch they do get stuck in the net. No, I'm going to lay that out to dry along there. Give that a bit of a shake, lay it out to dry and start packing my gear away. I've really enjoyed that. Not only have I caught a load of fish on the chopworm, it's cost me next to nothing to have the day's fishing, because I've collected most of the worms myself on the old lawn at night and kept them a little bit in. As I told you earlier, you can keep them in the apples and the tea leaves. They keep in good condition, and I've enjoyed it. So I'm going to start packing up. First thing I'm going to do before I put my gear away, pour myself another cup of tea to celebrate the catch. Pour some tea out, and then we'll start putting my gear away. One other thing I always do before I do anything else when I pack up, the first thing I like to put away is my pole. Get that put in the bag completely out of the way, and I ain't got to worry about it getting trod on. So we'll do that first, put the pole away. Like that, we'll lay the joint there. Fantastic, I'll sleep well tonight after a day's fishing like that. That was absolutely bang on, that was. I'll see now, but it's me packing up, I'll have to see if I can get the rest to pack up. They're all still fishing. There's what, Tony, he's just caught another one there. It's just unbelievable how many fish have been caught along here today. You boys going to call it a day, or are you staying on? Yeah, I'm packing up, are you? What you all got? How many pound each? What you got? 5, 6, 7, 8 pound? 7 pound? Just shows you, the weights along here have been unreal today. I mean, all of us had about 7 to 8, 9 pound a piece. Fantastic, really good, really good.